thing. So Eudora, you just take it up from here, do a bit of introduction or introduce yourself and then take it up. Please, if you have questions, prepare the questions. Chiniwobodo, please, within the class, ensure to remind people to sign in just in case for people who did not start from the beginning. And then I'll see you guys at the end of the class. So Eudora will take it over from here. Please respond and try. When she's asking questions, unmute and respond. If she's asking to type something, please, so that we make the class lively. Like I said, I'll see you guys towards the end of the class. Thank you so much. Okay. So the outline for today's training, we're just going to do a bit of introduction about proofreading and editing, which I've already kind of started with you people, right? And that is the question I've been asking, but then we're going to go in depth in it. The other thing we're going to look at, definition of some terms, types of editing, and then we're going to just do some class exercise. So this is going to be interactive, right? It's not going to be one way. Then we're going to look at the importance. You know, I just asked people what are the importance. So we're going to look at other importance aside the ones you already shared. Tools for effective editing and proofreading. I know in one of the sessions, I think last time, I already shared one of them, which is Grammarly. There are some others we're also going to look at. Then tips for editing and proofreading and effective proofreading strategies, how to proofread SEO content, and then we're going to have assignments, right? So first things first, as a writer, you need to always know the importance of proofreading. And aside what is just written here, there is no long talk. It's just what we have already discussed. When you want to proofread a content, you always want to ask yourself, why are you proofreading this content? What is the importance, or why must you even proofread the content? Why can't you just write a content and just move on with other stuff you have to do, right? You understand? So one of the reasons, aside correcting grammatical errors, because if you have grammatical errors all over your work, it gives a poor representation of you as a professional. So you want to, at every point in time, look out for what you're putting out. Secondly, you want to avoid miscommunication, right? You know that there are certain sentences you're going to come up with. If you do not punctuate properly, people stand a chance to misinterpret what you have written or what you are trying to express in that particular write-up. So proofreading and editing also helps to avoid that misrepresentation, right? So another thing proofreading does is it also helps ease the reading of our work. So after you have written, you look at how the work is, you maybe give it a second look, you give it a fresh, you look at it again with fresh eyes. We always say that proofreading is the process of giving your written content fresh eyes, because there are certain rules too to proofreading. I think we're also going to look at those as we go on with the training. So that's the introduction. So the Eudora, are you there now? Eudora, can you hear me?
Yes.
So
yes, I can hear you.
So I'm going to project for you. So what you're just going to do is to use what I'm projecting, and then you present. So you can start from here. You can take over now.
I don't know. It's not showing on my screen yet.
Who else can see my screen?
Yes, I've seen it. Definition of terms. Is
All
that
right,
where you are?
Yes, take over from here.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm really sorry for the little system glitch. So we'll begin with the definition of terms. Editing and proofreading is already there. Editing. We've stated that editing is the process of revising your content to ensure that it has a logical and coherent flow and expresses idea as clearly as possible to your reader. So by the time you are done with your editing and proofreading stage, whoever is reading your content should be satisfied with your work. You don't want to end up submitting a content that is full of errors, because assuming I had started earlier with you guys, I would have asked some of the importance of editing. But since we are here, you, like I've said, by the end of your editing and proofreading stage, you are sure that all typos, the process of editing and proofreading is to ensure that your work is having a unified and coherent flow. So when you submit, when you are done with your editing and proofreading stage and you submit your work, you know that whoever is reading your content is not going to have headache because of the errors that are there, because you've already done the actual work. So the next slide is to point out the errors in the following sentences. Can you hear me? Yeah. So if you
Yes,
can,
we
if
can
you
hear
can
you.
see the screen, can you point out the errors that you can pick out from the three sentences that are listed there? Quickly, please. You can unmute and answer.
Okay, good evening, ma.
Good evening.
Okay, so the first sentence, it happened on Wednesday, 19 December. The error there is, I feel like there should be a comma after Wednesday, Abi? Yes.
Are you guessing or you are sure of what you're saying?
Okay, let me see. I'm guessing for that one. I don't know.
Okay, for the other two,
The second
who else is
one,
trying?
I would. The second sentence, I would. The spelling of wood is wrong. It's not supposed to be that kind of wood. It should be WOULD. I would like to see is, and the C is also is wrong. It should be SEIZE. And then the opportunity, the spelling is wrong too. It's supposed to be OPPORTUNITY. Then the third one, let us, it should be inculcate. Have you incorporate? Hey God. It should be inculcate God, oh, English. It should be inculcate good habits only. Then full stop. Yes. Then at the end of each sentence, there should be full stop. Yes, yes. The second one, full stop. Yes. I
Okay,
am done.
is there anyone that have you've tried? Is there anyone that have any contrary opinion? Is this supposed to be inculcate or incorporate?
I
Hi,
think
ma.
it's
It's
Can you hear
incorporate.
me?
It's supposed to be inculcate.
Inculcate.
Yes.
Okay. All right. It's not far. It's not far from what she has said.
Okay, sorry, good evening.
So, good evening. I can't hear you.
One more thing again, I just noticed.
Okay.
Hello.
I
Yes, I
would
can hear
like
you.
the TO there. Sorry, am I the one?
Instead. So for the first sentence, 19th December 2024, if we're using the current date, current year.
Okay. Okay, that's good.
And
All of you
also, I
tried.
think there's supposed to be a space between the comma and the 2026. There's no space there. There's supposed to be space. Also, I just remember something. The first sentence, in fact, I feel like the first two, I mean, even all of them, the spaces are too much. Like the spacing rather is too much. Like it happened,
Yes.
in the space there is, it's not written properly, sha. That's just it.
Okay. Okay. There.
One more
You
thing.
Personally,
do anything else?
I don't think the spacing are so much. I think they just justified it. So it's just like that because it's justified. All the text they are justified.
Okay. 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 Please, can we move on? So you've all tried. You've done justice to the errors there. The spacing, according to the last speaker, I think she's quite she has a high for this editing. We've justified it already. But then our major focus was on the text, and it's commendable. Most of your suggestions were in line with what I've already written down here. So before you correct somebody's work, you have to think, you have to get into the head of whoever wrote the content. So someone said 2026 is not supposed to be 2000 and 2026 is supposed to be 2024 if you are going with the current date. So what if the writer actually had 2016 in mind when he or she was writing, because it's happened, so something that has passed? What if the writer, because we've not reached 2024 19 December yet, and nobody tried to check if, okay, what if even if it's supposed to be 2026 December, is Wednesday going to fall on the 19th? So all those things you should check before you go on to proofread or correct someone's work. So the next slide is talking about types of editing. Yes, types of editing. So we basically have three types of editing. The developmental editing. Here you check the content, the structure of the article or whatever you're proofreading. You check the tone. In this stage, you look at the words, the structure, if there is anyone that should have come before the other. Like if you're proofreading something that is sequential, step one, step two, step three, step four. So when you look at the article in this stage and you feel that, okay, at this point, step two is supposed to come last, and then step five come in the position of step two. This is the stage you check it. Then you check for the tone. For bloggers, mostly they use conversational or active voice. So if you look and when you read through your work and you see that it's not having a definite tone or definite flow, this is the point where you try to make everything flow well. Then the next type of editing, line editing, you go in depth, you check the sentence level, the clarity, the flow, how all the ideas and the thoughts are connected to get. After that, you look at the copy. So if you've heard people describe themselves as copy editors. This is what they normally do. When you write your articles and you give it to them, they will help you check your grammar, your punctuation, the syntax, the grammar, the punctuations. All these ones are someone. This is what someone specializes in. When Success talked about niche, this is someone's niche. Your work is just to check the grammar and the punctuation of each article you are working on. So with that being said, we look at why it is important to edit and proofread. Mr. Richard, next slide. Next slide. Why is it important to edit and proofread? So there is one that I did not include here, which is it is important to edit and proofread so that whoever is reading your work will not end up with headache. Have you ever seen a blog post or an article anywhere at all? You are reading something and the sentences are not flowing. You try to understand, but it's not coming together. Headache will just come from nowhere. So, but if your work is neatly edited and neatly proofread, yes, it's one of the things it's going to help you is error-free content improves search engine rankings. For SEO writers, you don't want to end up publishing an article that is full of errors. There's no way your content is going to rank. So to ensure that to make up your mind that you want your content to rank, one of the things you should look out for is your editing and proofreading. Make sure everything is error-free. Then well-written content engages readers. You from the hook of the article or the social media post, you would know you will be engaged to read further. But like in the first sentence or in the second sentence from the exercise we just did, if you see that kind of content anywhere, I bet you would leave it in the next 2 seconds or 3 seconds, because to you the writer is not professional enough. Now yes, that brings us to the third point. It demonstrates professionalism and expertise. So if you submit a work with too many errors, nobody will be, even if the content itself is very good, so far as they've pointed out a lot of errors, it just have that stain on your professional writer portfolio or whatever. So you should always ensure to edit properly and proofread so that you have some steeze and composure when you are talking about your content writing to people. Then it makes your content easy to understand. For the second example we had, where we said it's, yeah, I would like to seize this opportunity. I'm looking at it now and I would, if I read this, I would like to. TO is supposed to be just TO, but there is double O there. See, if you read it like this, you will end up having a headache, and whoever is trying to, maybe you're trying to convey a good message, yes, but with the errors there, nobody will understand it. So that's another reason why it's important to edit and proofread. Then the next point is Inaccurate content damages business reputation, just like what we just discussed in it demonstrates professionalism. Then, next slide, please. So, to help you with editing and proofreading, sometimes you cannot do it with your normal eyes. To you, well, English is not our first language, yes. So to you, it might be, yes, perfect, but then there are certain rules or grammar rules that might have escaped you. So you need tools that will help you to edit and proofread better. So one of them that I would recommend is Grammarly. Grammarly is very good for editing. Yes, as you are typing, maybe when you are using, if you are using Google Docs or Microsoft Word or anything you're using to type your documents, as you are typing and you make any mistake, Grammarly will go and underline either red or blue, or depending on the type of mistake you make. Then you can go back and check and correct those errors that Grammarly pointed out. Then you can also use Pro Writing Aid. The third one is Hemingway Editor. The fourth one is Quibots and Microsoft Editor. So I basically use Grammarly and Quibots, mostly Quibots these days, because I feel like Quibots helps you to refine your thoughts. Instead of changing it entirely, it just refines it. So if you write any sentence at all, you can use Quibots. So either you want to make it to sound standard, or you just want to change the fluency of the sentence, Quibots will help you do that. Instead of changing it entirely and making it sound like you used AI to write or chat to write it. Then SEO specific tools. Use SEO is mostly for back end, so we will not look into these in details. So use SEO, there's SEMrush, there's more that you can use for your keyword research. Then there's Google Search Console rather. Then SEMrush, yes, you can also use it for keyword research, competitor analysis, or content optimizations, just to check all these things. So the next slide. Effective proofreading strategies. So for this slide and the next slide, we'll be looking at how best you can proofread and edit, the techniques or the tips, the strategies you can use to help you edit and proofread better. So the first thing on the list is don't proofread immediately after you finish writing. Give it some time. So if your work is not demanding, or you are not trying to meet up deadline and you still have some time, you can leave it for 30 minutes, 1 hour, or even the next day, depending on the task at hand. You leave it, clear your head, then come back to revisit the work with a fresh eye. That will help you proofread better. Then the next thing is proofread for only one type of error at a time. Focus on one aspect. So what this point is talking about is you know the errors you usually make. If it's grammar, if it's punctuation, if it's the tone. So you don't go about doing all of them at the same time. That's to say, you don't, if you are looking at grammar, if you are starting with grammar errors, you finish the article, like from beginning to ending, you go over it, just focusing on the grammar errors. Then after that, you come back and check your punctuations if that is how you want to go about it. But don't try to do grammar and punctuation except you're a professional. But since you're a newbie, don't try to do grammar and punctuations and other errors that you're checking for at the same time. It might be confusing and you might leave important details out. Then increase the font to a larger font size so that you can readily spot errors that would otherwise go unnoticed. So another strategy you can use to proofread and edit better is to increase the font size. Probably 28 or 30 or thereabout. Just increase it. Instead of using smaller font size like 11 or 12, increase it to, you can spot errors faster by increasing your font size. Then read your sentences aloud. Sometimes writing sounds different in your head than it sounds on paper. So don't make the mistake of I don't want to make noise. Try. Just read it to your ear. Not like you read it that the person in the next room will know you are trying to proofread or edit. No, but at least to your hearing, you read your sentences. Your ears will pick those errors that might have escaped your eyes. Then the next is make a list of errors that you commonly make, yes, and keep an eye out for them. For like the second example I gave, where someone pointed out so, which is TO, and then the other one is two, which is TO. If you make mistakes like this often, grammar, um, synonyms, homonyms, all those ones. If you make mistakes like that a lot, try and improve on that skill. And when you are editing or proofreading, you make sure you look out for them. The next one is to read the text backwards, because sometimes the brain automatically corrects mistakes, written mistakes. This happens a lot. You will see, assuming I was sharing my screen, I would have showed this one. You will see a text and you will read it in the correct format. Meanwhile, that text or that sentence is actually wrong. But in your brain, it has automatically corrected it. So you will not notice, except the next sentence or whoever points it back to you that this thing you just read, you did not read it good, like it's not correct. So another way to help you spot all those errors is to read your text backwards. Like for this case now, you can mistakes written correct. Yes, as you are doing that, it will help you. Then the next is double check everything, your proper names, the citations, punctuation, page number, especially for academic people, your page number, your citations, your references, check everything, the proper names, the ones that are supposed to start with capital letter, the ones that are supposed to just check everything, double check the fonts, make sure all your fonts are in alignment, not one side they are using 11, then in another side you're using 28, then you come back to 16, then you go to 18. Make sure all your font sizes you are maintaining one or at least two for your articles. Then read slowly and carefully. Proofread the work 2 to 3 times to be sure. So next is how to proofread as an SEO content writer. That's the main topic for today. So we quickly look at how you can proofread or edit as an SEO content writer. Now, for the other ones that we just finished, you are writing for, or you are doing it for humans. This one you are doing it for bots. You are doing it for search engines. So they are not, even if human beings can overlook your mistake, I don't think bots or search engines are ready to overlook your mistake. So you have to be thorough in this phase now. So the first thing you do is to check for H tags and ensure everything is in their correct H2, H3, H4 tags, as the case may be. Then you break long sentences into scannable parts. You are not writing book as Aristotle or Shino Achebe. You are writing a blog content, so you should make it as scannable as possible. Don't jam pack your sentences together. Then verify all external links. Verify that all external links are from credible sites. That is another thing you should do as an SEO content writer, especially if you're handling the backend. Make sure all your external links, check all of them. Don't assume this one will be from credible sites. Still check. Then click on the backlinks to see if they are correct and not showing error for. Yes, it's still in line with checking your external links. Check all of them. I think, was it in the last class, Miss Arisha was trying to check if any of the links were showing in another page. Yes, so that is another thing that you can do to check that all your links are clickable, yes, and they are not broken. Then you check the relation of the images and videos that has been added to, that has been just about you linking to sites that either you just make the search engine understand that this link, you are not trying to build credibility from this link. So when the cases where you use no follow, if you are linking to an affiliate site, affiliate marketing site, or maybe the information you got from that particular site is good, but then the site itself, they have low quality, or it's not credible enough, so you just put it in no follow. So that's that for that. The next is confirm all data or reports cited in the article. Make sure it's up to date. You don't want to, except in rare cases, you don't want to start linking to 1606 when there have been improved data from 2023, 2024 that you can use, except in rare cases where you want to add all those things, maybe for references. But aside that, make sure all your citations, all your data in the article are up to date. Run a plagiarism test if possible to ascertain that information on the article wasn't regurgitated from someone else's. Yes, that's self-explanatory. Then check the voice and make sure most of the sentences are written in an active voice. For blog content, you are trying to discuss with just one speaker, for just one listener rather. So you make sure you are talking just like I'm talking now. You use your direct you, and instead of you generalizing it, make sure it's pointed to one person. That's another thing. And then you check if the vocabulary is well suited for the audience. Try to break your sentences, your words, break it to the to the smallest, depending on who you are writing for. So you don't want to sound too professional or whatever, but your major focus here is to help the reader understand your point instead of sounding professional. You can still sound professional, but use simple vocabulary that is easy to understand. Next is, yes, a little classwork. So imagine you've thoroughly proofread your document, feeling confident it's error-free. However, after submitting it to your employer, you notice some mistakes. What actions will you take to rectify the situation and maintain your professional reputation? So I need answers quickly.
Okay, so like the question is just straightforward. Who is writing class? Is it class 4 I'm seeing? This is not class 4, this is class 5. So the question she's asking, so if you find yourself in this situation, just like the first speaker said, I think as early as quick as you notice that, you should find a way to notify the people who are using it, make apologies for that observation, and then quickly tell them that you have made the adjustments. Then again, for transparency, so that it doesn't, you have to state where that mistake was from. You understand? So that's the best you can do in a situation like this. So with that said, we can go into Q&A. Do we have questions regarding this session? Let's have your questions now regarding proofreading and editing.
Okay, good evening, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Amarachi, and I want to ask, because I've been hearing of plagiarism. So I want to ask, is there an app for plagiarism? How do we run plagiarism tests in our content or in our work?
All right, great. So please, every other person that has question, just raise your hand so that I can attend to you. So while you're doing that, I would start attending to Amarachi's question. So plagiarism is somebody copying some other person's work without giving them credit, right? So sometimes plagiarism can happen knowingly or unknowingly, you get, but whether you knew or you don't is none of anybody's business. So in what's it called, creative arts, as the case may be, even in academia, nobody is going to listen to your excuse that, oh, you did not know some other person had written this. So that's why it's always important to use run checks. So for writers, we have a couple of tools, both free and paid, right? Grammarly is one of them. So, but for Grammarly, I think you can only use that when you already are on the paid plan. For the free plan, you can only use what's it called, the grammar checker. But then we have some other free plagiarism checker. So we could just do plagiarism checker on Google search. You see a couple of them. Like I said, Grammarly does that, but you have to be paid. So I usually use either duplicate checker or small SEO tools. So I will just open this, for instance. I will just open this. So I will just take maybe a write-up. Let me see if I have a write-up here. I'll just take a write-up. So this is not arranged, this is nothing. So but I'm just going to show you because it asks the question. So you see this space here, please enter your text and press. So I'm just going to paste the write-up I have here, right? And I'll scroll down and I'll see check plagiarism. I can also check for grammar here, but I don't trust these tools for grammar. So I only use them for check plagiarism. So I just, oh, I'm supposed to indicate I'm not a bot. Sorry. So I'm supposed to indicate I'm not a bot. Well, that should come back. So once I come back, I indicate I'm not a bot. And then I check for plagiarism. I just click check for plagiarism, and then it's going to run the scan and then give me feedback. So either duplicate checker or small SEO tools can do that for you. So sometimes there are some clients you work with, they would ask you for plagiarism checker. You get, so you also have to maybe download these reports and attach it along for them. Then there are some clients who would maybe you require more credible plagiarism checkers. Of course, for those kind of clients, you know how much you're charging them, or they will know how much they're paying you to be asking you to that extent, because you can't be asking me to run plagiarism and give you a report on a very expensive tool while you're just paying peanuts. So that also comes with the job. So this check is complete now, and you're going to see the results. So you can download the reports here, which you can share with your client. So if perhaps they were plagiarism, it's going to indicate them in red. You understand? It's going to show red. So, but plagiarism, you're seeing 0%, unique 100%. So number of words here is 281, results found 0. So this is clear. So once I download it, it is also going to show to the client that there's no plagiarism. So that's how you run plagiarism. You also have small SEO2. It works the same way with this. So you can use any of the two to run for plagiarism. Excuse me. So we also have, what's it called? Tools you could use to check for AI content and all that. So if somebody used AI to write, but perhaps that might be class for another day. So that's it. Who else has another question? Let's take the questions. I hope I answered your question. I can't see any hands raised. If you
Yes, sir.
have questions, all right, great. If you have
Okay,
questions,
sir, one more thing.
okay.
While I was writing today, I noticed something. I was trying to use Grammarly. So in that Grammarly, there is a part that have is it improved something? Improve on it, something like that. So if I click on the improve on it, it automatically changes the words or improve on the words that have already been written.
Mm,
Yeah, so I
okay.
wanted to know, and again, there's a point in Grammarly that shows AI editing stuff like that.
Okay. So that what that just means, those are new functions that were added. Of course, the whole wave, the whole AI wave and all of that has done a lot to some of these tools that some of them are trying to adjust to meet up to. So it's not like AI tools are new. We've always had stuff like Grammarly. Grammarly is like an AI tool also. So it has always been existing, just that they were not generative text-based AI tools. So generative text means that you would give them queries and they'll start generating replies for you, or generating content for you. You get, but those AI tools have always been there. So what Grammarly does is Grammarly tries to read, you get, based on predefined or pre-stored programming. Grammarly reads what you write based on English sentence rules and paraphrase where it is needed. If maybe you wrote stuff that sound ambiguous, the algorithm tries to understand what you were trying to express, and the algorithm can suggest a new way for you to construct or structure that sentence or paragraph, as the case may be. So it's always there. So the AI also is, if you perhaps you if also want to like maybe rewrite the whole content with AI, you get, which is not advisable at that point. And I believe it's also a paid this thing. So it also means you have to be on the paid plan to be able to use that. So that's that about that. I can't see any hands raised. So
So thank
My
you
hand.
very much.
I can't
I think
see any hand.
Raji's hand is up. I think Raji's hand is up, sir.
Sir, can I go on? Can I go on with my question?
Raji, take your question.
All right, sir.
Were you hearing me all this while I was talking? What's her name?
Sir, yes, I was hearing you, sir.
Okay, I was not wondering if I was missed. Okay, Raji and Blessing. Okay, those are the two people. So Raji, take your question.
Yes, sir. So my question is, when the speaker was explaining this part of ensure that some of your external links are in nofollow, I was not really hearing her. I was having network glitch, so I need more explanation on that. And then secondly, when using H tags, we have the H1, H2, H3. So let's say you have more titles you still want to keep using. There are some H tags that tend to be like too small in size. Do you have to still keep using them and they should follow each other in size like that? Or maybe, let's say when you get to, let's say for example, H4, we can maintain the H4 and continue with it like that. That's what I'm trying to ask. And then lastly, my, what's it called? This justification. I do justify my content, but I don't know if it do appears differently in other devices. But before I send it, I do normally justify it just the way you showed us that we should be doing it. But it seems after sending it, it appears to be different on other devices. I don't know what the problem is.
Okay. Well taken. So the H tags, right? Like we have said repeatedly in other classes that the H tags help us arrange our contents to be readable. And I think there was a slide I shared in class 4. Again, people who haven't gone through the previous classes, there's a lot that is going to happen in a coming classes that were built on the foundation of class 3 and 4. So if you haven't gone through class 3 and 4, you have to. For people who have submitted their second assignment, they already understand what I'm trying to say, because there's a task that they are doing currently that requires class 3 and 4 again. So this is also an expert of people who have not. The moment you're done with your second assignment and you get the approval, the next assignment you're going to do is based on that class. So class 3 and 4 is so important. So that said, we talked about this number. We said you should use between H2 to H6. You get, ideally, I do not even see why you're using more than H4. You get, because using H6 means that you're having about, we have H3, H4, H5, H6. You have about 4 subheadings under one subheading. So it's already too much. So if you have a major heading and you have the first subheading, you have the second subheading, if you're getting to the third subheading, you should check if that is meant to be a subheading again, or if that is even supposed to be a heading on its own. Do you understand? So instead of having all of it that way, and then for those for the H tags you say become small in size, right? It's also to avoid all of those things. There are the ones that the system, maybe if you're using Word document, it automatically, I think H3 automatically is on italics. So you can change it from italics by yourself. Then there are the ones that the system automatically puts it in, let's say, a lower font size. So if the H2 is in size 14, font size 14, the system will automatically put maybe H3 in font size 12. So you can also check that font size and adjust it by yourself, you understand? But the H tag on its own does not change. So that's another solution to that. What's the other part of the second part of your question again, Raji?
A justifying of the contents after we are done.
So that justification, I really do not know what the issue might be now, but I want to believe that if your content is properly justified, regardless of so far you did it on a system, you get any other person that opens it in another system should still see it in the good shape. Most times when that justification issue happens is if you wrote the content with a phone and then sent it to somebody and the person opened it with a system, the system's Word document is larger in size. You get, it would disrupt it. Or if you wrote it with a system and the other party opened it in a phone, it's naturally disrupted. So that's why most times, but not in this case, because as a content writer, when you're sending your work, you send it in Word document because the person you're sending it to has to gain access to it. So, but if you send it in PDF, the person can copy and paste on their site or wherever they want to use it. So that's why we always use Word document. So, but if you're sending stuff like, let's say, a CV, that's why you hear that you're always advised to send it in PDF form so that if regardless of where the person opens it, it does not scatter. So, but just ensure that you're using system version so that the other party at the other side also open in the system version and it will not scatter. Any other question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Follow.
Blessing.
I
I think Blessing was the other. Raji, you still have a question? Hold
Yes, sir.
on, Blessing. What was the last question?
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you. What was your last question?
Under how to proofread as an SEO content writer, there's a
Okay.
point there that ensure that some of your external links are in no follow. I don't understand that point. I was not hearing her well when she was explaining it.
Okay, so that point you would understand it better if you make it to the blogging class. So that's more in blogging, right? So let me just do a bit of let me just do a bit of this and show you. So all these links you find here. So the links on this particular page, right? All of them appear like a link, but in the back end, there are certain instructions you give. Now, when you give those instructions, the search engines take those instructions and act on it. Now, this is a link to a page outside of our website. Google's algorithm or Google's rules state that if this link is promotional, like you took money from them to put this link on your site, or you're just promoting somebody's business, so that because every link you put on your site, you're kind of passing authority to that site. You get, because the moment you backlink a page, you're trying to tell Google's algorithm that this page is credible. Do you understand? Remember, it's the same way when you cite a paper, you get, like you are doing your project and you cite a paper, you're trying to pass credibility to that paper because you found the paper relevant. So that's also how some of these things are rated. The moment you send backlinks to this, Google is going to rate this as, okay, this page is relevant. So the crawlers move, as this thing is there, the crawlers will move directly to this site and see this as a credible site. And that's a signal you're sending to that site. So, but if that was not your purpose, if your purpose is not to send credibility to this site, if maybe it was transactional, there's an instruction at the back end you're going to give so that when the crawlers come here, they see that instruction that this is a do not follow. Yes, you're sending link, you're adding the link, but it's actually you're not actually trying to pass off authority to that page. Do you understand? Another way of doing that also is if you have some internal links, right? Not all the internal links you make a do follow link, because do follow link means there are web crawlers. This you understand when we get into SEO proper. You need to understand what are web crawlers. You get some of those technical terms is when we get into the next stage, which is starting from next class. You have things like web crawlers. Why are they called web crawlers? You hear spiders. What is spiders? What do we mean when we talk about spiders in SEO? You understand what is Google algorithm, where you hear of algorithm, what is core updates, all of those things are going to be discussed in the next class. So you understand better when we get to next class and then blogging class. But for now, just understand this basic that this link, if you don't want Google crawlers to pass off authority to it, there's an instruction you give at the back end before this content is published, you get, so that the algorithms do not mistake it and pass off false credibility to it.
Thank you, sir.
So, okay, Blessing, you can take your question.
All right. Good evening, sir. Thanks so much, sir.
Good evening. All right.
Okay, a couple of questions. Okay, the first question is about the editing and proofreading. Okay, from what our speaker said tonight, she said, you should take your time, don't try to maybe edit immediately. Take your time, come back to it, check your errors and all. Okay, so my question is, what if you actually go over your written work and you're taking a lot of time to check and you are so sure that there's no error, like even making use of Grammarly, because I had an experience with Grammarly that I need help with. I don't really know if it's cool because Grammarly tends to change your expression, the way you really want your work to appear to people. Grammarly tends to change that. Okay, so and some things that to you might not really appear as a mistake, maybe they are intentional, probably like a saying or quote or something or proverb or something might appear as being an error or mistake using Grammarly. So what are we supposed to do in that situation to maintain what you actually want to pass across, to keep that focus, And the second question is concerning plagiarism. If you paraphrase your work very well, either you are quoting a theory or something to back up your content, you want to explain your content well, and maybe you, of course, you made a research, you quoted someone, but you put it in your own way, paraphrase. Is that going to be tagged as being plagiarized or something? So, okay. And the last question is that, please, I don't know if I'm being okay to this particular issue, but it's really painful because I really appreciate this training. Like, I'm really, 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 really happy. Like, thanks to give my all. But the thing is that I'm having issue with LinkedIn. I don't know if I'm the only one. So, I find it to come online except through mail. So I've been trying to reach out through mail. That's the only means. So I created 2 LinkedIn accounts and they were being restricted. I've even tried to reach out to their help center I don't know if you can help us with that, please. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so let me
All right, can you
attend
hear
to
me?
it. Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, I can hear you. So the first question, so the first question you were breaking at some point, so I really didn't get all you were saying, but I know you were trying to ask about Grammarly. You were saying Grammarly, you have an issue with Grammarly and all that. So, well,
Proofreading
that's
and
actually, yeah. So that's actually true. In a way, we also have to understand, so these are some of the pros and cons. You get, all of these things have their pros and cons. So Grammarly has issues with context. So that's one of the challenges with Grammarly. Grammarly has contextual issue. Yes, so you usually find it hard to understand, like, it's an AI, so it's not a human. So it's programmed and it's just like plus or minus plus one plus one is equals to two. It doesn't do one plus one and half plus one and half, you get, or it doesn't know half plus half.
correct.
So it's just that thing. Can you still hear me?
I think the voice is breaking. Sorry, sir, I didn't get that.
So what I'm saying is that Grammarly naturally has challenges with contextual statements or contextual paragraph. So most times when you get those recommendations, you're not obliged to accept all of it. So that is why you are there. So it's not all the suggestions Grammarly give to you to accept. You understand? You only accept the ones that you find relevant. You get, so when you say Grammarly changes your stuff, Grammarly is only changing what you accepted. It only give you those suggestions is when you accept it. So if it's giving you the suggestion and you don't want it, you can dismiss. You have option to dismiss. You understand? You have an option to dismiss, so you can dismiss that suggestion and it will not come up again. So, but a scenario where you accept it, that means the system is going to think that, okay, you found that suggestion relevant. So yes, not all corrections from Grammarly you should take hook, line, and sinker. You get. So that's one. The second question you were asking, what was the second question again?
Okay, about plagiarism. What if you paraphrase? Like, without be
Okay, so
glad that
the truth is that I think when we even get to the next class, that's where we're going to talk about this whole paraphrasing. Before, in the beginning, or before in the past, one of the things we're going to discuss in next class is some of the things that used to make content rank before and the things that are not making content rank anymore, because everybody has to know, you get. So before, the way people write content is pretty much easy. You just go online, you put a topic, you read what other people who have written about the topic have already written, then you now paraphrase all those stuff to now come up with your own. I know even during the initial training, we told you that that is how you come up with your content. But the truth is that by next class, you're going to even find out differently. You're going to learn differently. You're going to see that things can be done differently. You understand? So it's not just about going, seeing what people have, you paraphrase it, and no. There are new ways, there are new things that are making that are working for SEO. You get most of the people who are still using that old outdated strategies, you get all of them are crying today. You get, or all those things are not working as it was working before. So you have to now come to reality of things. Those ones you find out more by next class. So by next class, you would find out that a lot of the thing you're looking for would be resolved in terms of that question. Then the question about you having issue with what's it called, LinkedIn, I really do not know. So, but I also know that if they had restricted your account previously, maybe you use the same system that they restricted, because they are also, the IP address of the system might probably not change. So you use the same system and they find that it's the same system. So they can also flag that off. And perhaps that is what is happening with you. And I do not know how quickly they can restore that for you. So I really do not know. I don't work with LinkedIn. So I do not know the issue, and I can't even see your, what's it called, what's the name now? Your LinkedIn account, to know what exactly the issue is. So I really don't know why you're having challenge with LinkedIn. It's supposed to just be easy and then everything works. So that I can't really say much about. Amarachi, so Amarachi, your question, and that's the last question we're taking. Is Amarachi there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your
Okay, sir.
question.
The question is, I think when the teacher for today she was talking, she talked about the links that we use, right? For it to be clickable. I don't know how that is done actually. How do we put a link that is clickable on our work while writing? That's one of the things I wanted to understand.
Were you around in last class?
Not fully around in that class because I was having network issues. Although still
That
listening to the class. I'm still listening to the clip of last class.
this you're saying now is a fantastic comment. Like I said in the beginning of this class, when I see people who were not in the last class, or when I hear them, I will know. And when I also know, so the problem is not you were not in the last class. The problem is you were not in the last class. We sent you the replace for those classes. It's been how many days you've not gone through them? Because in that last class, I showed how you can add those links. So if you had gone through those replays, you would know this thing now. And unfortunately, I don't have a Word document here that I want to start showing you that. So, and I don't plan on opening a Word document to start creating some write-ups to now put that. No, it's already in the last class. You have to go and revisit those classes. All that part of it you will find in that class. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So even the people that maybe network was logging you out or bringing you back in, when we put out or when we bring the replay of this class, even if you were not logged out, go through it again. Sometimes or during the session and everything we will say, maybe small fatigue here or there or tiredness, you might miss some things. It's up to you to ensure that you go through it again. You get so I don't know, but you guys need to also really rise to the challenge. That's some things. So another thing I don't know if I lost that. I think I lost that. I was trying to pen down some of the reasons why the implications of a poorly proofread work. So one of the reasons, so please take note, is that you could lose gigs by not proofreading and editing properly. You understand? You could lose gigs. So you need to proofread and edit your work properly. You understand? You could create backlash for your organization or your client in a poorly proofread work. How proofreading concerns SEO. Now, this is another thing I'm discussing. How proofreading concerns SEO. Now, I'm going to open this page as a reference so people can still see my screen. If you can see my screen, please let me know. Can you see my screen?
You can't see your screen, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to share that again. So confirm now if you can see. So I'm just going to use this site for instance. Now, see how scannable this is. You get, if you do not proofread properly, because most of you wonder, aside just writing, how does poor proofreading and editing affect SEO? So I'm going to show you. So see how this page is. Imagine if somebody comes and start reading jargon, right? The person will leave this page immediately, right? The person will leave this page immediately. And if Google has ranked your page on first, has ranked your particular blog page of your website on #1 page, and people are clicking to your site and leaving immediately, it sends a signal to the algorithm that that page is not good. Before you know it, you lose. If you were in #1, you will go to #3. From #3, the next thing you're out of top 10 ranking, you're no longer on the first page. So that is where proofreading helps. It has to be written well so that people, the moment, because the algorithm is calculating when people came to this site he recommended, how long, how much time did people spend. So these are also part of the things we're discussing in next class. What are the search engine ranking factors? If you check your timetable, you see that that is in the next class. So I'm already even chipping in on some of the things for next class. You get scannability, and which is why proofreading is important. It goes a lot to show why. Because if people are leaving, the algorithm will be looking and then give you bad score. Again, it can create bad PRO for the blog or the site you're writing for. Now, if that blog or site keeps getting bad PRO, you understand, negative comments about your brand is also picked, because whether it's social media or any media, the algorithms, because Twitter, of course, Facebook, of course, is a website. So the Google algorithms also crawl all of those sites to search for information. That is why if you go to Google, for instance, and you type your name, for instance, let me say I'm typing Richard Okiase, you understand? You find out that some of my social handles will come out. This is a social media platform, but this is showing because the algorithm has crawled the page, right? And this is from Fastire YouTube channel. Just this video is the video, I know 2 days ago, this video is the video we did which day. So when we are presenting you guys in this class and say, come and learn, we're not just coming to tell you because it's bluff. We're coming to tell you because we know some of these things. So as you can see, this one was the first class when this class started a week ago, and the content or the video, can you guys still see? Sorry, just hold on. It's coming back. Okay, just hold on. Okay, so like I was saying, this is the particular class 4, day 4 that I was telling you guys about. So how come these videos are ranking? How do they rank? You get, so whether it's YouTube, anywhere, the crawlers crawl all of these pages to find out what exactly is happening and then rank them. You understand? So it is also important because when you start getting backlash, for instance, let's say Fastire is getting backlash on any of these social media channels, the algorithms are also picking what people are saying about Fastire, and it also reduces the rep in which people will rank related to this content. Now, imagine if people open this video and after a minute, they leave the video, the algorithms will start saying, okay, these videos are not good, and it will reduce the ranking. I hope I'm communicating. So these are some of the SEO ranking factors, but of course, we'll go to them in more details by next class. So what else again, or why is proofreading and editing important to SEO? So proofreading and editing is also important to SEO because it helps your brand stand out. Now, there are certain websites, we don't do that, but I'm going to show you, let me see if I can use this website. Can I get a blog? So there's, okay, so I'm going to show you, it also serves for branding. So remember, if you write your content and just update, upload it, you will not get some of these things, but there are certain, are you sure these guys do that again? If they are not, I'll find another site that does that. Okay, Abi? Yes. So all this, you can see that these guys use color coding. This is done during your proofreading and editing, changing the color to this. You understand? It helps in branding. So this is also part of importance of proofreading and editing. You get, because naturally it comes in Blackboard. Yes, some of them are already pre-installed, but it takes somebody who also works at the back end to be sure. There are certain sites that all these places where you will see blue, it will be in their brand color. You understand? There are so many sites I can use. Let me show you guys this one. Neil Patel. I hope I can see one of his blog posts. So there are even Grammarly. Grammarly also codes their and just use it. So proofreading and listening is also good for branding. You understand? And as a case may be. So those are some of the importance. I think that serves. So I'm done with that. Next class, where's the slide? So next class, for people who are going to be in the next class, according to Bello is an analytics site. You get, they did a research and discovered that 84% of Google searchers use Google at least 3 times daily. Google receives a monthly visit of 89.3 billion visits per month. That's supposed to visits per month. So in a month, people visit, Google receives search of 89.3 billion. Sorry, yeah. Then daily, 8.5 billion searches daily. Now, the big question is, how does Google rank content and what makes a content rank on Google? So those are the things we're going to be discussing in the next class, which kickstarts our SEO stages. So if you want to find out how do content rank, how do websites rank, how do YouTube channels rank, you are going to find that out in the next class. So that sums it up for today's class. Now,